The views and opinions expressed on this program do not reflect the company, owners, management, staff, clients, or partners.
It's Wednesday, the 17th day of May 2023. Welcome to Bermuda's Daily Talk Show. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by the BAC Group of Companies. Medical House and Lindos. I'm Jamal Hartman. Guess who's back, folks? Sherry Vanderpool is in his house. You know, big up. Was it Shut Him Down, Sherry?
Shut him down, Sherry.
Sherry. And Maya Palacio will be with us in a bit to bring you the latest in her news break brought to you by People's Pharmacy. So, Sister Sherry, what you been up to?
Work. I've done a lot of. I've been working a lot, Jamal. And I do some travel for work. So I actually, flew into Jamal's area and I skimmed over the top of his head, landed, then flew right back out.
Yeah.
I was mad though that we couldn't hang out together. I really was, Jamal.
You know, you remind me of those people, Sherry, because
Those people.
those people
Okay.
who criticize me when I visit Bermuda and I don't see them. And all I have to say to them, Sherry, is, well, if I'm visiting Bermuda, chances are, unlike you, I don't have transportation, so I can't just get up, go in and see you and visit you and so on. So you got to use those excuses. Well, Jamal, you know, I didn't really have no chance. I couldn't come out the airport. And then it sounds better, but to no audience, she was rolling deep, and she
None of that. I could have got transportation and stuff, but I had another work event the next day that I had to ensure. So I literally got off the flight, did what I had to do, and got back on the same flight and flew back to Atlanta. That's how quick it was, Jamal.
Yeah, we'll believe him. I mean, yeah, whatever. We don't believe him. Anyway, folks, greetings, everyone, and thanks for making us part of your daily routine. A good one today. We're going to be discussing incentivizing good conscience. Like that's the topic for today. And it's been, reported over the weekend. We had 2 hit and runs, if I remember my news breaks correctly. 2 hit and runs.
Too many.
Yeah, and obviously one resulting in the death of the most valuable footballer in Bermuda, Marco Warren. And I think it's only right that we focus on the conscience and consciousness of our community today. So really looking forward to that. Also, folks, if you don't already, the Daily Play, I forgot about that. Daily Play is music today. Now, I haven't picked the card. I don't know what it's going to be, Sherry. I don't know what it's going to be. So
I thought Wednesdays when it was Larry was on, I think, and so I was like, but I do hope I get the same support that you give others with hints and extra time and stuff like that. So
I don't give extra time. What is all this crazy?
you definitely give hints.
Oh, okay.
Definitely.
Folks, I don't know, man. She always trying to say I'm favoring something or somebody. I don't know. So we got to work on her. Don't forget to subscribe on our website, thedailyhour.com. Follow us on all of our social media channels so you don't miss out on, well, if you got the email on the weekend and you've heard us the last 2 days, you have a chance to win one of 2 remote control AC units that are compatible with all males and models. And can be either mounted on a wall or not. So here's some more details. You want to know how you can win, Sherry?
Listen, I got something to say about that, but go ahead. Yes.
Okay, let me go ahead. All right. First way you can win is you must be a member of the TDH community. If you're a member of the TDH community, you're automatically going to have your name called if you're lucky. And folks, I'll tell you how I'm doing it. I literally just refreshed the page in TDH community and first name that comes up. So Marcia Bradshaw was yesterday. I don't know who will be today. So just keep in mind, it's literally that random. So you can subscribe to the TDH community either through our YouTube channel. Just hit the join button below the video, or you can go on the website, thedailyhour.com, and register, and you'll be entered into the draw. Now, you'll have to watch and listen to the entire show. If you saw yesterday, we had a very, very late here, right? The 60-second countdown, as Maya described, it's intense. It's intense. It'll be on the screen ticking, 60 seconds. If you hear your name called, you have 60 seconds to respond. What, Sherry?
Here.
Here. And that's here as in Here. All right?
Jamal.
All right. If you do so, you'll receive a gift voucher for one of our partners, and you'll be entered to win the grand prize, which we'll announce on the 25th of May. All right. The second way to win is follow us on Instagram. When you see anything posted relating to this giveaway, you're encouraged to like, share, comment. What's the word again, Sherry?
Here.
All right. And that is Here. We'll announce one of the most engaging followers as the winner on May 25th. All right. So those are the two ways that you can win. Any questions?
No,
Right.
but you had a sister stress yesterday. I want you to know. Both of them. I'm like, what are you doing? What is going on?
Oh.
She's like, I'm doing it. And so, hey guys, tune in, stay like with your fingers on it.
You heard it, folks. You heard it. It was pretty intense. But let's get to today's question. Again, we unfortunately have been discussing some very sad news this week, and it's really around the death of rather tragic and unfortunate death of Marco Warren, who was most recently named Bermuda's most valuable footballer, and was the captain of the Pembroke Hamilton Club PHC Zebras. Something I was hoping didn't happen is happening, and that is we're now 4 days later, and unless the police have not made a statement, no one has come forward. It doesn't surprise me because we live in a silent community, I'd like to say. We're loud about the drama and silent about things that should matter. We're silent about turning people in. We're silent about speaking up and speaking out. Question of the morning, very simple. How can we incentivize people to speak up and do the right thing? That's the question. How can we incentivize people to speak up and do the right thing? And I don't think the right thing is subjective. Not in this instance. I think it's very clear what the right thing is in a case like this.
And why should we have to incentivize just being a good person, Jamal? Like, why do I need to give you something or be a promise of something? And that's what the word sounds like to me. Like, I need to encourage you to be a good person when you know you've done something wrong, bad, insensitive. It's as simple as you did something, turn yourself in. You did something wrong, make it right. And making it right doesn't mean that your choice of what you decided to do will be a positive one, but it would be a very conscious one and one that can help everyone sleep at night. To have this family hanging in the balance in regards to what happened to a father, a football player, a child, a brother, and so forth is not in good conscience for anyone. And I like your question, but I'm insulted by it at the same token.
and no, you're right, because it's for years. I remember Carla Zhu, and happy birthday to her. We spoke about this in regards to shootings and the awards and rewards that were being offered for capturing murderers and so on. And we used to say the same thing, like, why should we have to uh, pay people or incentivize people to do what we believe is the right thing, the humane thing, right? But the truth is, that's the society we live in. We're responding to the society we currently live in, right? Sam Cat Plays, she says it as well. Why does telling the truth need to be rewarded? Just do the right thing. Have a bleeping conscience. That's the problem. Again, title of the show, incentivizing good conscience. It's almost like we need to incentivize people to have a good conscience. We do.
It's
It's sad. It's a sad reflection of where we are today, right?
it's a very sad reflection. And it's just, my mom always said, any choice that you make, and that's Mama P, there's going to be a good consequence and a bad consequence to it. But you must walk through both of them regardless. And at the end of the day, if you do that with truth and honesty, the outcome will still be something that can be good, right? And it's heartbreaking, and it's just mind blowing. I don't know about you, Jamal. When I was younger, I took something that I wasn't supposed to. I'm sure you did too. But my conscience couldn't allow me to do something of that nature. And I ended up taking it back. I also think what happens at home plays a role. My father thought I took something from him. He wasn't sure. So took me to the police station at a young age.
Ooh, Sherry.
Yeah, took me to a police station. And it was for someone to talk to me about, and although I'm like, I didn't take nothing, but if this is where it ends up, I'm definitely not doing nothing, And so it's your upbringing as well, I think, plays a role of the people that are invested in your life. My father didn't want, and my mother didn't want me to be on the other side. However, putting a conscience in me or helping to mature, it's like, you do wrong, this is what happens.
Yeah. I don't know, folks. I mean, it's an interesting one. We're 4 days removed from the tragic death of Marco Warren, and again, the police have not released a statement. I'm not sure if Maya, maybe they have, and I haven't seen it. Maybe Maya's going to share one, but as far as we know, no one's come forward. No one's turned themselves in. Question of the morning: how can we incentivize people to speak up and do the right thing? I do agree with Sam Cat Place and Sherry that, it's unfortunate that we're actually having this conversation about incentivizing people to speak up and turn themselves in or turn someone in when it involves someone. Look, I always say this, and this is an extreme example. The transatlantic slave trade, right? Sherry, I know you're on the mature side, but you weren't born back when the transatlantic trade was taking place. But you understand that it was wrong. You didn't have to experience it. So when we use the examples that, what if it was your family or friend? Even that, it shouldn't have to happen to you to know that it's wrong. It shouldn't have to happen to you to have a conscience and and I get why we say it. I said it yesterday or the day before as well. But we shouldn't have to incentivize people. We shouldn't have to, tell people, think about if it was them.
Yeah.
Our community, you spoke about parenting. You're right. I used to steal cookies and chips all the time.
I knew it.
Anna's making a new batch of cookies for, whatever bake sale. And, she turned her head. I slipped my hand in there and got me a cookie. Yes. I know you can see them all in my stomach now, but that's neither here nor there. Seriously, none of us is perfect. We've all made mistakes. We still make mistakes. But with mistakes, there must be accountability. There must be accountability. And we have become a cold and callous community. If we're okay, remaining silent. This is not just Marco Warren. Naya reported another hit and run this weekend. We're now, 3 years or 2 years since the last sighting of Chevelle Dylan Burgess. Someone knows something.
Mhm.
Someone knows something.
And as much as we forward all of these things, Jamal, I've seen fights, I've seen people steal stuff, I've seen people trying to break into house, all of these things. I've seen accidents, we're seeing gun victims laid out on the ground shot, but nobody has any information
Mm,
on a situation that happened 3 or 4 days ago in regard to just anything.
mm,
You mean to tell me nobody knows nothing?
mm.
Please. Like
Somebody,
that's insulting within itself.
I was very young, and a murder took place in Bermuda, probably early high school years. And I'll never forget a police officer saying to me, someone always knows something. It's really about getting to their conscience and getting them to speak up and do the right thing. And I think as a community, we need to keep the pressure on, keep it up. Um, Question: how can we incentivize people to speak up and do the right thing? Ebony Souza says, have incentives statistically been successful here? I think people really need to get back to the basics of humanity and compassion. It hurts to see. I agree, Ebony. As far as have they been statistically successful, I don't know. I don't, and I think we got caught up thinking incentives just mean money.
Money.
Um, I come from the tourism space where incentives mean pretty much anything, but it means trips. It means, different kinds of rewards. It can mean a car, going to an Oprah show, whatever. Uh, I think we need to be creative if we're going to do incentives. But at the same point, again, I think it's very sad that we're here having this conversation about incentives. To your point about, get back to the basics of humanity and compassion. That's the conversation that we need to be having. Unfortunately, we're just not in that space.
Yeah.
We're not in
And
that space. Ish.
we're not in that space. And it's, again, we have had these 3 to 4 days. And if this is something that you've done, yes, it's going to hurt. It's going to be unfortunate. It's not something that you would want even, of course, a small community to know. But it is what it is. And this is what has happened for your life. And it's what's happened for everybody's life. It's the trickle down effect, Jamal, that just really annoys me in regard to this person just not coming forth and also giving the family some part of peace,
Mhm.
very little bit, but peace.
Yeah,
Families are shaking right now.
indeed. Folks, what are your thoughts? Let us know in the audience. What are your thoughts? How can we incentivize people to speak up and do the right thing? Let us know. Karen Simmons says, no need to give incentives. That sets a bad precedence, and wrong is wrong. The longer it takes speaks to their character. I don't disagree with you. I honestly, absolutely don't disagree with you. But I think it's a reflection of where we are today that the precedent's already been set, right?
Yeah.
Um, Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe someone was rewarded and relocated for a murder in Bermuda about 12 years ago.
Really?
Yeah, I believe it was the from the murder of Kumi Harford, if I'm not mistaken. So I think that the precedent's already been set. Truthfully, I think there have been, to Ebony's point, I don't have stats or data, but I am pretty sure that there have been a number of rewards put out there where there's still been no conclusion or no one
Hmm.
brought forward. So again, I think the idea is to be creative, and incentives don't necessarily have to be cash. We have to be creative. And how can we get people to do the right thing? Again, we're trying to incentivize the conscience. Now, is the incentive, look, simply getting people to understand, look, you do this. The incentive is if it happens to your family or friend, people will be encouraged to come forward as well.
Right.
That can be an incentive. Like, how do we get people to understand that it's in their benefit and the greater community's benefit to speak up about this? I think it's a challenge. But what I will say is, there's a family out there, folks. There's a family. There's a community. There's a club. There are people out there who are hurting right now, and all they want is to know who and why.
And how.
And they deserve those answers. And let's be clear, we don't know who's responsible. We don't know who's responsible. It could be someone we all know.
And it could have been a total accident. That's the other part.
It could have been a legit accident. It could have been someone who was not under the influence of alcohol. It could have been someone who, as someone said, didn't know it was a person they hit. But now that you know, do the right thing. And I will repeat, the right thing in this instance, the right thing in this instance is not subjective, in my opinion. Let's bring Maya Palacio in for the news break. Sherry, we're going to continue this conversation. We'll continue this conversation because I think this is for the greater good of the community at this point.
Yeah.
And I want us this morning to really figure out how we can change what has become a cultural norm in Bermuda. And what is that cultural norm? It's silence. Silence. Stick with us. Maya Palacio, right, coming right up.
Good morning. Good morning.
Greetings, madam. How are you?
You know, okay.
Okay. We have the question this morning, and I think we all agree that we shouldn't even be asking this question. I think we're all in agreement with that. We agree that you shouldn't have to incentivize the conscience. The conscience should be leading us and directing us into doing what's right. But again, it's not just Marco. We've gone back and we've spoken about, Chevelle Dylan Burgess and others who've been in accidents and been in bad situations where, there's a gentleman in Bermuda who has been physically disabled for about 20 years due to someone, I think a friend, leaving him at a scene. And I forget his name, but his story's been in the news quite a lot over the last 2 decades. To this day, no one's come forward to say they were driving that car, right? I don't want to say quickly, we've slowly built a community of doing unconscionable things and just go about our lives. And what I don't want to do on this show, I don't want to just keep talking about things and then, move on to the next. I don't think that's helpful. So I don't know how you feel. I mean, do you think we have a problem with people doing the right thing? Are we
100%.
Yeah.
I want to say it also just stems from us being as small as we are. I mean, you could say it for countries away in the States too, like obviously there's a huge problem, but the fact that we also have, more than half the CCTV cameras not working on this island, that's public knowledge. People feel like they can get away with something or just wait till someone catches them before they have to say anything. Because why out yourself if they don't have any evidence, right? So that's also a big deterrent as well to even come forward. I was just trying to look up the case of Janiyah Simmons, 19. I believe that she actually got hit off of a bike, which was 18 years old, though, in a fatal hit and run collision too, and that happened around 2019. And I think the person who did it was finally convicted just this year. So it takes a long time as well for these things to process. But that person didn't come forward as well. They had to find and search and look for this person and hear witnesses and things like that. I was reading one of the stories before I popped up in here of someone who just mentioned, and they were witness to this because they were on their bike, and then they saw this van come by, and the van shut off the lights, and then they saw a helmet, and then they saw Janiyah. So I was just like,
wow.
Wow, because that person witnessed it. So if there is someone who may have witnessed, seen a body, was around there at that time, and you might not think it's even that significant because you weren't the one who did it. But if you saw it, if you're around the area, if you remember the time that you were in that area, even if you didn't pass it precisely, like think about the cars that you may have seen around that time or vans. Like I know the police called out for those in that area to look at the CCTV cameras, but everyone, it was a hour in the morning, what I think it's at 2 a.m. to around 3 a.m., something like that. That's a strange out. Not many people are going to be on the roads. So everyone track their cameras. If you have cameras around the roads and whatever car vehicle goes by, whatever car vehicle, because that's a early hour. So anyone in that vicinity, they didn't necessarily say if they're going east or west, truthfully, but check your cameras. Everyone or who has the visual to see, because that's a strange hour. It's not going to be a lot of people. You're going to find some sort of vehicle on your ring light camera if you have any.
And you know what, Maya, also, it just made me think of something. A lot of people, and they're not expensive. And when I say not expensive, they're only like $80 to $100 in the US at least. A lot of people have cameras in their cars now. Right? If you might have been out during that time, and let's say this accident happened in Kroll, and you were in flats and somebody passed you, that could be helpful, because just knowing that vehicle was on the road at that time and knowing there's not many vehicles, that could be helpful. So if you have what is called dash cam, that's what it's called.
Dash cam.
If you have dash cam footage, you don't know how helpful that can be. So
everyone needs to look at the footage. If you have any sort of type of footage and you know you're out and about or you have it on your door, everyone, not just the ones in those vicinity, everyone should be looking at their footage right now. Because no one has stepped up, and the time is kind of ticking. This person who would have done it might be feeling like it'll de-stress now. You need to keep pressure. You need to keep pressure because this is my opinion, but every fatality is everyone's issue. It's everyone's problem. It's the island's problem. And if there's any way, if the family is sorting out anything, please let us know. If you're trying to, I don't know, whatever you have planned, and if you need assistance, contact me. I would be more than happy to help. If you have an idea of what you want to do. I know some people are talking about maybe going door to door and asking people to check their cameras and around the neighborhood. If you have access in your own neighborhoods, even to ask people just to check, just to check and know that like this is serious and we need to find who it is, because us leaving this alone. And what came to my mind when you guys said like that gentleman who's been waiting over 20 years still doesn't know who the vehicle was or who was that did that. In an island this small, he could have probably met him and he doesn't even know. And that person probably won't even tell him. It's those things that also just eat away at you as well. Because his family right now doesn't know who did it. And they don't know if that person may even be the one sending them condolences. Like you don't know. And how cruel that can even be. Because I do believe the person who actually killed Janiyah Simmons, like they were a friend of the family and they didn't say anything. So I don't want to use that word loosely. I don't want to call him a friend, but they definitely knew the family. And and it's just like, and you didn't say anything.
Yeah.
You know what, Maya, with you saying that, we have, several people that watch the show but don't always comment. And I think we should hashtag Marco Matters within it and have people in our audience to hashtag that. And for if you're not going to comment, just look at that. Take that in, because he matters. And if you know somebody who knows somebody, like, say something. So I don't want to
say something. It's an incredible pain to not know, and it definitely takes a toll on your trust as well to who you're talking to, because could be them, they're just not telling you.
Indeed.
So we need to give this family some peace in that sense, but justice all the way through.
Indeed.
Good morning, everyone. I'm starting out with the news now. This is the Daily Hour News Break, brought to you by People's Pharmacy. And I'm starting this out with some sad news as well, tragic news, honestly, and it might be even hard to hear. But this report is coming from a reporter from the paper, Owen Johnston Burns. And it is about a jury convicted a 59-year-old man of a string of sex offenses against two sisters that took place more than 25 years ago. After several hours of deliberation, John Dexter Seaman was found guilty by a majority verdict of 8 offenses, including 2 counts of unlawful carnal knowledge, 2 counts of attempted unlawful carnal knowledge, and 4 counts of sexual exploitation. All of these offenses allegedly took place between 1992 and 1997. I'll stop it there, but if you want to go to the Gazette and read it further on, just a fair warning, there are some graphic details, and it does rip you apart. These girls were about 8, 7, and 11 at the times of these offenses that took place.
It's another epidemic there.
Yes, predatory behavior and sexual assaults have become quite the epidemic in Bermuda.
Wow. And again, we don't know who these victims are, nor do we need to know, but they're adults now. You can only imagine how that's impacted their lives, right?
Yeah. The victim is 8. That's her name. The victim is 11. That's their name. You know what I mean? It's the age. It's all of it, and it is very difficult. It's yeah.
It's a difficult read, but I encourage you to read it because it's reality and what has happened on this island. And I also want to encourage you, the most recent article that Kavina Lorray had wrote is like how to talk about sexual abuse with children in different age groups. So please read that article as well. It gives great insight as to how to approach these conversations because they're needed. Again, this is another epidemic on the island. We need to have these conversations and not gloss over them. We need to allow children to know when to speak up and how to tell the people that they trust, the parents in their life that they can trust about what's going on with them.
I would say people that they trust because we don't know who the perpetrators could be in that sense as well. So find someone that you trust.
Exactly. Moving back onto some road collision discussion. So the Bermuda Road Safety Week was announced on Monday. The chairman, MP Lister, said because of the lack of manpower on his council, they were unable to produce more than the conversations about road safety, but want to focus all their efforts on the opening day to bring awareness to the Global Road Safety Week. So here is a quick snippet of a conversation I had with MP Lister, the chairman.
Event that happens annually. Do you think that it will be affected just by some posts and some comments? Like, do you think that it will have a bigger impact if we actually maybe had courses or classes situated up for this week?
That is actually a good idea. Something that we can look into do next year. Again, it just comes down to the manpower and bringing in other stakeholders to assist with that. But I think that with social media, social media is the #1 avenue now to get a message out there. So we're pushing our social media, but we know that not everyone is on social media. That's why we also have the TV ads that we campaign and radio ads. So we try to hit all the different areas. And I will admit we won't get everyone, but we try to get as many as possible. And it's also not just about a post, it's about that conversation. You might see a post as said, today is the pledge for better driving. So it's about starting a conversation about how can you pledge, what is better driving, what can we do to be better drivers. So it's not just a post, it's about conversation and encouraging and raising that awareness of road safety.
You and I, we had a long interview, I think probably just over a year ago now, and you spoke about how in every road fatality incident, you do your best to try to visit the families. Of the 5 that have passed this year, have you visited most of the families?
I will say that I haven't been able to this year. It does come down to, and I say a time lapse, because what we do, we have to get the information of that fatality. Unfortunately, we don't have firsthand, we have to source it through other sources. And then when we get that, and so sometimes it is a lag in between, and so we do follow up, but this year, I have to admit that I haven't been able to get out to the families this year. The most recent one, I will try and get out to as soon as I can once we do get that information so that I can go out and meet with that family.
What about the ones that you may have visited in the past? Can you talk about maybe some of their experiences that you found, like talking to them and how it kind of affects the family?
So I guess my question is, what do they need as far as manpower?
They don't have enough people on their council or stakeholders coming in to assist them to do more than what they've done. I will be very honest in saying this is the exact same campaign that they had last year. It's an annual event, so they knew it was coming up.
I don't see the point of having an organization unless it can be effective. And this is not a criticism of Brother Lister. It's not a criticism of that particular organization. What I really want people to like listen to what I'm saying is I think we tend to have resume fillers. We tend to volunteer and put our names forward and sit on boards and consoles to build our resume. It's all about self. And I said it to someone just yesterday or day before, like I'm not interested in being a part of anything unless I can make a difference. If I'm not able to bring a positive difference and make an impact and change things, being part of that, then I don't see the point in being there. It's not going to go on my resume anyway. That's not important for me. But I think we have too many resume fillers in spaces that needs to change, because at the end of the day, if the organization is not effective, then why does it exist?
Right.
They did mention some hopes to put through some suggestions to the ministry and government. He said they are narrowing it down from 5 suggestions to maybe change law enforcement, and also that they will be going into the schools next year is their plan to go into every school, primary, middle, and high school, to talk about road safety. Next up on the list, while I was there, I got to speak to some of the audience or people that were there at the opening to talk about how they felt about road safety in Bermuda. So I'm going to play that short clip for you. But also note on the side is the voting that happened on Media Maya and what people voted about how they feel on a scale of 1 to 10, how safe they feel riding on Bermuda's roads. There's also another comment on the right-hand side if you could read that, but I will read it after the video that's played as well if you don't have the time to read it while it's playing.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how safe do you feel riding in Bermuda?
4. I would say 3.
I would say about a 5, maybe.
1 to 10.
Probably 10. I give it about a 2.
About a 3.
And why?
Just every day is an accident, let's look at last week alone. We got accidents every day. We got cars overturning, we got cars driving across, like off this actual railings. I don't think it's a conscious of life. We don't seem to actually care about ourselves and our life, but also we don't care about our next man. And it's horrible to see, and I mean that on a real way.
So I have a long commute to and from work, and sometimes I'm traveling, making midnight and stuff, so you never know if there's going to be any crazy drivers on the road. It's not just yourself, it's the other people who you have to be aware of.
3?
Yeah.
Why is that?
When you get off the road, oh man, I ain't got no rights on the road. I feel safe as myself riding, but it's sometimes not safe when other people are around, like people that pull out in front of you and stuff like that. But like me, myself, I feel safe as a rider.
Because with all my training, extensive training for driving and riding, I still have close calls, and people still scare me.
Like when you approach these collisions, these scenes, these accidents, what goes through your mind? Because it's a burden that takes you have to see these accidents.
It may sound selfish, but a lot of times, the first thing I think is do I know the person, right? Because it could be a family member or a friend. After that, I'm like, well, what about other people's families? And how exactly did this happen? Who caused it? Things like that, of that nature, obviously, because we're there to investigate. And one thought that always goes through my mind is this didn't have to happen. I've never been to an accident that had to happen.
Again, they don't just happen. They're caused.
Yeah.
Interesting what the older gentleman said. People were saying, get off the road, old man, right?
Yeah.
Now, I live in South Florida. South Florida, the way it works, it's Miami-Dade, then there's Broward County, then there's Palm Beach County. If you know anything about South Florida, Miami's wild and crazy, Broward, less crazy, Florida, old and retiree. So as you go north, the traffic gets slower. I'm behind elderly people all the time. Now, before, it was the elderly people giving me the fingers and hands. I'm not lying. If I had my dash cam, you would see it. Like I was in their way. Nowadays, it's like, okay, I'm more acclimated, know where I'm going. And it's almost like they're in my way. Then I realized, no, they're not in my way. We're actually both doing what we should be doing. We're driving the speed limit. We're keeping everybody safe. All that to say, I think the population actually determines the driving habits, meaning the majority of the population. So because there's so many elderly people in this county, it determines the speed and so on. That gentleman, if we actually do have an older population in Bermuda, shouldn't that mean that the traffic's a bit slower? And but does that mean because the traffic's a bit slower, we're going to have more dangerous driving habits because people want to get around them to where they're going? You got what I'm saying? Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
I hear you, but I feel like a lot of our older population, I don't know if they all have the driver's license still though, or just rely on family and friends to take them where they need to go. That's another thing to look at too, because I don't really see that many riders. Truthfully.
Well, but older population still, sticks to the speed limit of what they've been accustomed to,
As
and
they should.
right, and the newer generation kind of like, no, this is, but we live in that generation of everything's fast,
Correct.
everything's fast,
Instant.
But we're such a
instant.
small island, like we're in a rush to go nowhere, absolutely nowhere. We're too small to be riding as fast as we do. Like, what is the difference between being 2 minutes late and 5 minutes late? Nothing except for your life. So don't do it.
Let me
It's
put
not
in
about
context.
time.
I'm gonna put something in context for what Maya just said too. I'm gonna hit Waze, right? I'm gonna hit Waze. Waze, if you're not familiar, Waze is basically Google Maps, tells you where you're going. So I'm gonna put the address for where I'm going once I finish the show. So it says 18 miles. It's gonna take me 27 minutes, right? That's what it says. I would show you, but I don't want you to know where I'm going. Why is that important? The point I'm trying to make is I literally drive the length of Bermuda back one way every day where I'm going. And you all could call me what you want, but I take my time going there, not because I dislike where I'm going, but because I can't afford to get a speeding ticket, number one, right? Number two is, okay, I rushed there, I can't afford to fix my car. Number three, I can't afford to fix anybody else's car. Four, I'm not even got to the part where life loss or act like physical stuff yet. I'm just going down a list. Why is it important that I have that list in my head? Simply, that's what helps you guide you, like your conscience. Like that's how we should be thinking as individuals. I have a list of things that help me. The Lakers have this thing right now. They're saying for the playoffs is be humble. I have this thing where I just say be safe, be defensive.
Yeah.
I don't
And
mean perfect. I still yell at people on the street.
And I would just wanted to chime in to you, Maya. Like, I don't think that it has to do with time. I really think that it's about back in the day, the skills of being able to maneuver through cars and be able to make the nips and do all of those kind of things rather than it being time. I feel like it's a thrill that I can go between two cars and make it, the adrenaline rush. I think it's more that than trying, because most Bermudians get to work late anyway or wherever they're going, right? So I really think it's
that's a psychological problem. The thrill.
But that's what we're I think it's more of the thrill.
That's
You saw me make that nip. I got through, and it's never about, I got here on time. I don't feel like it's ever been that.
I would tend to disagree with you a bit, Sherry. Not that I don't think you're wrong. I think that does play a role, but I think the majority of people I come across, they're late for something. They want to get there. I think you just said it in your comment. They're traditionally late for work. You know what I'm saying? So I think being late does have something to do with in time. But I think you make a valid point though. Like there are people who legit do it for the thrill. Like why are you not stopping at that stop sign? You clearly can't see what's coming from the other way. You're taking a chance.
Right.
This ain't Vegas. Seriously, if you lose your money, that's on you. But if you pull out that stop sign, it's not just you may be harming. Okay, I'm done. Go ahead, Maya. Sorry.
But I hear you, trust and believe. So now I know I said that I'll have my full interview out yesterday. I'm still trying to gather some statistics on it, and obviously the conversation from the road safety week kind of took precedent in getting those videos out. So while I'm still gathering some more statistics for the video that I want to finish completely, here's just the answer, since everyone here was waiting for it, to that last clip of what we ended up off with my interview with Dr. Taylor in terms of road collisions and what happens to the brain and how do people feel afterwards, and do they ever feel healed? So here's that clip. So can you talk a little bit about your patients who have gone through that process and maybe how they've come out on the other side? Like how long do they believe it takes for them to recover, and do they ever feel like themselves again?
Yeah, Maya, it's a great question. I think you're right. No one really is thinking about this when they're on the road or driving. But when someone does suffer a severe TBI, it can take weeks in the ICU to get them through that acute phase, to treat that brain swelling, deal with the pressure shifts, try and give the brain the best chance to recover. And after that phase, which typically lasts 1 to 2 weeks, then they often need to stay in the hospital for 1 to 2 weeks after that to make sure that they're not having any other complications like pneumonias or infections, or that they're able to get the nutrition they need in a manner that's safe, that they can heal if they have fractures to the skull, that they can heal that well enough to be then moved into an acute care rehab facility or acute care setting where the focus is daily rehab. And that phase, after going from the ICU for 1 to 2 weeks, the regular hospital for 1 to 2 weeks, then they can spend, in some cases, months in rehab. And the reason is that oftentimes, because of the traumatic brain injury, patients may not be able to yet be able to communicate, or maybe they are unable to walk and they need to learn how to do these things to be able to go back out into the community.
Wow.
Yep. And leading off of that, I just want to give an update. We know that there was another really serious collision with Jatwan Miners who had to be flown away. His surgery was successful, but there's still, again, a long recovery period. It was a lot of fractures and bones broken in his face. So that's also going to be a huge recovery period. The family is still asking for financial assistance for those who can help. There will be a football tournament, I believe, to help raise funds as well. And I'll talk about that more when the time is closer.
Thank you for that update, and sending him healing vibes and energy and road to recovery. And folks, if you can help donate in any way, please do.
And my last news was actually some happier news to closing out. It's grad season coming up for all the graduates that are going to be graduating soon or already have. And apparently it's going to be 102 students that will be graduating from Bermuda College this coming Thursday. So congratulations to the graduates.
Congratulations. That graduation came fast. I mean, yeah, it is early May. I thought they graduated in June, but congrats, Bermuda College. Did you go to Bermuda College? I love you.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. They saved me. Seriously, Bermuda College helped me get in graduate school. You know, your boy weren't the smartest in undergrad, so he had to take some extra classes to get into graduate school. So I went to Bermuda College, did them, and so Bermuda College will always have a special place in my heart. So congratulations to the graduates. Stepping stone to wherever you're going, maybe further in your career, or maybe just out to the work world to start your life. And congratulations to Tanya Cheeseman. Says, my son Jaden graduates tomorrow from Bermuda College. Congratulations to you, Jaden. Congrats, mommy. How's the weather looking, Maya?
Horrible. It's going to be more cloud than sunshine. I'm sorry. And it's going to be some showers around there too. So, get your umbrella, get your coat, stay dry. It's not going to be good weather today. We have a high of 76 degrees. So that just makes it even more humid and not looking like a very pretty day. But hopefully we see some spots of sunshine.
All right.
It's been rainy out here.
What's the day of the year, Sherry?
Well, today is World Hypertension Day. Now, this is to raise awareness of hypertension and encourage hypertension prevention, detection, and control. Hypertension affects more than 1 billion people around the globe and over 30% of the adult population in the world. It is the primary risk factor for cardiovascular diseases, particularly coronary artery disease and stroke. Besides, hypertension is also a risk factor for chronic kidney disease, heart failure, arrhythmia, and dementia. And that's why sharing information about this condition is essential. So be
What's
aware about your hypertension.
hypertension?
Yes.
Oh, that's my blood pressure. Okay, cool.
That's you.
I haven't. I'm gonna check it in break, folks. Don't forget we're gonna do the 60-second countdown. Should we do it now? You guys want to do it now?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. Do it while Maya's here.
All right.
The stress.
My blood pressure, like yesterday.
Refresh. All right. This person has 60 seconds. 60 seconds. That's a 60. All right. The countdown is on now for the name of Sherry Lynn Johnson.
That was like me.
Nothing.
Your clock is very intimidating.
Yeah, I'm like, this sounds like a horror movie clock. Can you do like the
No, I created
what is that like?
I created it myself. You guys, you don't like it. You know,
Then it makes sense. It makes sense.
Yeah, well, Sherilyn Johnson, you didn't get as lucky as Marcia, but folks, you got to tune into the entire show tomorrow. We'll call another name. Maya, thank you so much. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll come back. We will ask the question one more time, right? How can we incentivize our community to do the right thing? And then take another break and do the daily play. Maya, see you later.
Ride safe, everyone.
Stick with us, folks, and ride safe, as she said.
Get ahead of the summer heat with BAC's pre-summer sale on air conditioners. For a limited time only, you can enjoy a 15% discount on Lortec and Cooper and Hunter AC mini-split AC units, two of the most trusted brands in the industry. Plus, with financing options available, you can make your purchase even more affordable. But don't delay, this offer is only valid through May 31st or while supplies last. Whether you're looking to upgrade your home or office AC units, BAC has got you covered. Stay cool and comfortable this summer with BAC.
People's ACW, located at King Edward VII Memorial Hospital, carries over-the-counter medicines, toys, cards, and even toiletries. Our knowledgeable staff are there whether you're at emergency, visiting family, or a member of BHB staff, to show you our best even when you're feeling your worst. People's ACW, we're here for you.
Welcome to the new bulk store, Lindo's Next Level.
Mom's celebrating her 70th birthday next month. Have you noticed her age is catching up with her?
Yeah. Plus, she's having a hard time getting up and around like she's used to. I would sure hate to see her fall.
At Medical House Limited, we can help make life situations easier. We have electric beds, motorized scooters, bath stools, walkers, you name it.
Mom's been real good to us. We'll get her birthday and Christmas gifts from Medical House.
Medical House has relocated next to the Dandytown Field, number 6 Bakery Lane, Pembroke. Telephone 292-3622.
All righty. Welcome back to the big show. Sherry Vanderpool, I'm Jamel Hartman. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by the BAC Group of Companies, Medical House, Lindos, and People's Pharmacy. Folks, don't forget to subscribe on our website. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we continue to do our part to improve our community. Yes or no, before we take one final break, yes or no, do you think that we should have incentives to get people to do the right thing? Audience, yes or no? Just a quick yes or no in the audience. Should we have incentives? Do you agree with them? Yes or no?
I would say, I feel like no, Jamal. Like, you shouldn't have to be insensitized. You know what I'm trying to say, to do the right thing. But yes, at the same token, and I know you don't like me doing this, but if it doesn't involve like financial gain, if that makes any sense. Like, no.
Okay. Sherry says no. Traveling Charlie says no. Hedley Stevenson Swan says yes. Sam Cat Place says no. Pamela Wade says no. Mark Arthur C. Phillips says no. Shoshana Williams says no. Karen Simmons says no. Stacey Ann Brown says no. And Yolanda Richards says nope. I say Alana Rogers says no. I'll say this much. I believe that society sometimes dictates our behaviors, and society dictates sometimes how we respond to the behaviors. I don't like the idea of incentives. I don't. The unfortunate part is, while my answer would be no, I know that my answer probably isn't what's going to get us what we want and what we need. So it's you got what I'm saying? Like I don't think we should have to incentivize. I absolutely don't believe we have to, but because of the behaviors of the population, we just have to at this point.
I would say this, Jamal. I think you are more inclined to do so if your response was immediate.
Mm-hmm.
I think if you did the hit, the accent, you were there, you're helping, you're cooperative, I think you can receive some empathy to want to incentivize that person. I think now we're lost it. At this point, like you've lost that window for that. But I think immediately, I think the community would be more supportive of like, at least he came for it or she came for it. They stayed there. They helped to keep. I think if that part was done, a lot of those answers would be yes.
Yeah, I agree. And I just want to say something, and this is a big shout to Bacardi and Danielle Painter. They were on today, and in good conscience, Danielle, because of the conversation and what's happened recently, we thought it was a better idea if we didn't move forward with the conversation. So that's leadership in our community. So I just want to just state that, Danielle, it's appreciated. I'm sure the audience appreciates it. So we'll definitely have that conversation again soon. But sometimes, unfortunately, we have to have these conversations, and I mean it. I didn't know Marco personally, right? And we shouldn't have to know people personally to be touched by certain things. This was an evil act in our community, and it's no place for it. And I say it again, and I'll continue to say it. We're 4 days, right? 4 days. And as far as we know, still nothing. And we know how this happens. It happened with Chevelle Dillon Burgess, right? As time goes on, we as a community tend to forget, or not forget, but move on.
Move on.
I don't feel comfortable doing that. I just don't. Let's take our last break. We'll come back, wrap it up, give our final thoughts, and the Daily Play. Stick with us. Don't go anywhere. If you appreciated today's conversation, discussion, news break, please give us a thumbs up, a love, a like. Make sure you share these conversations, because I think the conversation, whether we should incentivize or not, and how do we incentivize good conscience? How do we do that? How do we incentivize? Is it an educational thing? We get people to attend some courses and classes. I don't know. Can you fix a conscience? Stick with us. We'll be right back after this.
Bermuda, get ready for the official summer starter. DJ Rusty G presents Flag Invasion. I have a big flag. The Sunset Edition. Much more than just a party. This is an outdoor festival happening Saturday, May 20th at Port St. Catherine. Doors open at 6 p.m. 3 stages. One epic event featuring an all-star lineup of international entertainers. DJ Rusty G.
Yo, Rusty G here, inviting everybody out to Fort St. Catherine. It's gonna be crazy.
Just Jay.
Yo, what's up, Bermuda? This is Just Jay from Barbados. May 20th, I will be on your shores. It's all about Flag Invasion.
Ricky Platinum.
Yo, hear me say no. From here, the voice, you don't know, so Ricky Platinum at top. Bermuda, May the 20th, Ricky Platinum live.
DJ Quest.
Yo, Bermuda, check in. DJ Quest from the 268 Antigua. I'll be there May 20th for Flag Invasion.
Shep Beats.
Yo, what up, Bermuda? This is DJ Shep Beats, the London Governor out of Barbados. See you guys real soon at Flag Invasion.
And Fire Wayne.
Yo, it's your boy Fire Wayne. Flag Invasion, I'll be there.
Also featuring Bermuda's finest DJs, Mr. Genius, DJ iBreeze, Marky T, Young Gun Sound, DJ Maestro, Jim Brown, Corey Miners, E.T. Flavor, DJ Young Sai, DJ Derek, and DJ La Jefa. Get your ticket online right now at djrustyg.com. Sponsored by Cox for Rum, Stoli Vodka, Wicked, and Caribbeer.
Ordering from ER Fisheries has just gotten simpler. With just a few clicks of a button, you can place an order for next-day delivery or same-day pickup. Our ever-expanding list of offerings now include grocery pantry items, specialty meats, and bread and dairy items. We know things have been hard, and we're here to make planning for your next meal or party easy. Whether you're a vegetarian or a meat eater, we have what you're looking for. And best of all, it can be delivered to your door in 24 hours or less. Go to www.erfisheries.bm and check out our wide range of seafood, beef, lamb, pork, poultry, fruits, vegetables, and plant-based products, all available at reasonable prices. That's www.erfisheries.bm.
Alrighty, welcome back. Thanks again to every last one of you who continues to contribute to the conversation. Sheriff Vanderpool, myself, Jamal Hartman. Thanks again to the BAC group of companies, Medical House Lindos, and People's Pharmacy for ensuring we're able to have these conversations with you on a daily basis. It is time for the Daily Play, brought to you by Bermuda Trivia, now available at stores throughout Bermuda. Follow Bermuda Trivia on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok to find out why it's Bermuda's favorite trivia game. Sherry, are you ready?
I am.
All right, let's go into let's see what we got. This is easy. Can I pick another one?
No, because we don't. It's still me, Jamal. Shoot.
No, this is it. All right, folks, help her out. This is very easy. According to Sporty Thieves, what kind of girl is fronting like she can't say hi?
See, I don't know this. This is from Spice Girls.
Sporty Thieves. They only have one song.
I don't know. You could pick another one.
No. I thought you had this.
Anybody else?
According to Sporty Thieves, what kind of girl is fronting like she can't say hi? Close, but no cigar. They had the song opposite of TLC Scrubs. It was called Pigeon. Oh, you had that Scrubs, Pigeon, you know.
Yeah.
She got it. I want to go back to this comment because this hits home as well. Ciara Fox says, we can't wait for things like this to happen to consider incentives. If we had worthwhile incentives to drive more responsibly, lower to see a lot less accidents. You know, we've talked about that on this show previously about incentives. I know in the US, there are many incentives for not having accidents and driving, responsibly and so on. I do think this plays a role. I do think these are part of the conversations. And that's why, for me, hearing that the Road Safety Council, they don't have the manpower is, well, what do you need?
Right.
I'm sure there are a lot of people who would love to give back and help out. So what do you need? Let's wrap it up there, Sherry. What final thoughts on today's conversation? Again, incentivizing good conscience. Thoughts?
It's a lot, Jamal. I as I stated before, I don't think that we need to incentivize. I keep messing up the I know. I keep messing up the word. Provide rewards of some sort to persons to have a good conscience. I think it's just something that's within us. And I just think the person or people or whomever in situations like this should just automatically do the right thing. Just automatically. And I know I'm asking for a lot because everybody is not the same, but there's got to be something within you that just needs to do the right thing. I personally couldn't sleep. That's just me, my conscience. But
most good people couldn't.
yeah,
Well,
I just think do the right thing.
I'll say this much. I think the truth is everyone has a price, and for the right incentive, everyone will do or say something for the right incentive if they feel safe and secure, like their safety isn't going to be in jeopardy. There's also the other side where people feel like, well, I have, nothing to gain by saying this or nothing to lose by doing this. Being a good person is such an internal thing, Sherry. I'll never forget this guy in high school. He said to a teacher was very religious. He says, and he was a religious guy. So he said, look, what if the Bible is just a story? And the teacher responded very calmly, said, well, if it is, at least it's, what would she say? She said, if the Bible is just a book or is just a story, it's always good to live a good life or a nice life or be kind, right? That was her reasoning. And I think we've lost, if we ever had it, a sense of just being respectful, loving, good citizens to one another.
Yeah.
We see things like this happening, it exposes that even more. So I would say, folks, I don't want to keep repeating it, but I have to, because we have to change the culture of silence, especially when it's hurting our fellow people. We don't know if this person responsible is going to work with family members every day, serving them. We don't know. And all they would like is some sort of closure. Jerry, you've got some daily inspiration for us?
I do. This daily inspiration is being brought to you by ER Fisheries. Every individual matters. Every individual has a role to play. Every individual makes a difference. And that's from Jane Goddard. She's, what's it, primatologist? I've done a lot of big words today. Primatologist, the lady that did a lot of the work with apes and gorillas and all of that stuff.
Oh, one of them. Sarah Fox says, we in Bermuda do everything reactionary. Nobody thinks ahead to put preventive things in place. We try to do that on this show. We try to help people. We try to give suggestions. I mean, the government says they listen sometimes, but that's the only way we're really going to make moves, though, Sierra, is if we get ahead of it. I think our community is naturally reactive. We try to get ahead, but it's going to take all of us a cultural mindset shift. Folks, if you know Sherilyn Johnson, tell us she missed out on an opportunity. Maybe it's the name. Sherry, I'm just saying.
My mother is watching.
Mama P, love me. Folks, don't forget to subscribe on our website and follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we continue to do our part to improve the community. If you haven't already and you're checked on YouTube, please hit the join button, become an official member. You don't want to miss the restaurant crawl that we're doing this summer. Oh, we were talking about it last night. It's going to be a blast. Thanks again to our partners, the BAC Group of Companies, Medical House Lindos, and People's Pharmacy for ensuring that we're able to do this with you on a daily basis. As always, folks, we really, really do appreciate you. We love you, and we thank you for making us part of your daily routine. If all goes well, we'll be back to do this again with you tomorrow. She's Sherry Vanderpool. I'm Jamal Hartman. Please do make it a safe and a great day. And hold on, Sherilyn Johnson, you missed your opportunity. Your name was called earlier. You missed the opportunity.
She's coming in on the clock. Hi, it's here.
It was here you were supposed to put. But folks, that's the lesson. You have to tune in every minute of the show live to hear your name called, to be thrown in the hat for a chance to win one of the big prizes. We're going to see you tomorrow. Peace.